We're Wages of Sin. I'm Dan Beck.
I'm Stephen Gillum.
I'm Eric Miller. That's you, Dan.
Oh. All right, this week we're going to be doing a review on The Joe Show.
The Joe Show.
The Joe Show. This is from Chemical Burn, Worldwide Media, Multimedia. This is based on the poems of Joseph McIntosh. Another movie we did a review before from this director, Daniel Falicky. And this is starring Joseph McIntosh, Joel Patrikas, and Marjorie Pearson Yost. This movie is dedicated to Christina McIntosh,
Yes.
Joseph's sister.
We
Believe, yeah.
I would feel it's safe to say that. Stephen?
The synopsis reads, Joe carries around a rusty saw and a gasoline tank. No one quite knows why, but there are a number of women who have gone missing in the area. Joe is lonely and spends a lot of his time writing poems about his brutal life as a cabbie and his family's dark, mysterious past. He may or may not be a murderer, but when he reads his poetry at the Limerick Theater, he affects people in all walks of life.
So he drove a cab before.
Left turn on Franklin, right turn on Wealthy, left on Logan, right on Humboldt, left on Oakdale. Man, why this cab cost so much?
I was so impressed with what you did in there. It just inspired me so much.
Word around the apartment building is you're a poet.
Sometimes life's like a bad country song, sometimes better, sometimes worse.
I read my poetry every Tuesday night at this club, and they kind of like it.
The Joe Show.
The Joe Show.
I love this movie. And I will say that with the utmost of confidence. I really liked the monologues. I thought they were a peek inside someone who's going through a really tough time, who's saying what you gotta say.
It's all said through Joe.
It all said through Joe. There's a lot of him in a microphone giving a poetry read, and then it's interspersed with daily life for Joe and what he goes about doing. And I liked it. Maybe it touches me a little bit closer than others, but I actually got a little bit misty when I realized that this movie was dedicated to his late sister who died of cancer. So I found a special place for it, and I really like it. So thank you, Joe. How about you guys?
For me, I didn't always bring up the micro budget of these films. I guess I'm looking for less serious. This was more of a serious film that you would see like in a low budget film. You don't really see a lot of.
Yeah.
Maybe you do. I don't watch a lot of the drama, serious low budget films. So this is new to me. So
Yeah.
maybe it took me a moment to kind of come to terms with that. I was maybe expecting. You read it, I'm like, this guy's gonna be a crazy psycho killer. He's gonna be doing some crazy stuff, and he's not. There's some mystery going on, and you're trying to figure out his life because he does have a
Dark.
yeah. You've seen him. It's like in a was this Chicago? Where was this location?
Somewhere with snow.
It was a cold city, and you feel it. You're like, man, if I lived there, I'd be depressed all the time. Because I mean, it's just you just want to get in a nice warm place. So his life is. They did a good job giving that impression of his life.
Well, it's based on his one-man show in his poems, so I think he got up there and just, he spoke from his heart, and they put it into a movie.
Right.
And I think that's what makes it work.
I would say, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but when you're watching his daily life, it's very camera just kind of on him, almost kind of found footage-y. But when he's in the show, when he's doing it at the theater, the Limerick Theater, it's all very bright, and it's more stylized than how everything else
It was creatively lit. And
yeah. The one time he goes to shine and he's actually, doing something that's speaking to people, it's shot that certain. Then when he goes into his life, it's more
plain.
Plain and
flat.
Yeah. So that was interesting. It would be not for me. It wouldn't be one of my typical picks of a movie.
Well, that's like when, like you said, you went into it thinking that it was more, it seemed like it was gonna be a slasher movie. And that's how I thought it was.
Yeah.
This is gonna be something like Maniac.
Is it classified as a horror,
Um,
or is it just a drama?
dark comedy, suspense drama. So I thought it was gonna be more of a slasher movie, but it wasn't. So I was kind of taken by surprise.
In a good way or bad way?
I mean, it wasn't what I expected, but I going
Slapped
back,
you across the face.
it did.
And unfortunately, and a lot of times when you do go into a movie and you don't know anything about it,
Yeah.
you have kind of your preconceived idea, and then when it's not that, you're kind of almost like a disappointment. You have to kind of think about it for a while and say, you know what,
And then this is another movie that we've gotten as a screener, and it's not available to the general public, so we haven't really heard anything about it. We just went into it as a blind one. But at watching another one from this director, I think he did a better job with this one. I mean, not really a better job, but I like this one a bit more than I liked his other movie.
it was a huge departure stylistically. I mean,
Yeah,
The other movie was
all green screen.
the Awaken the Devil.
Yep.
And it was all very stylized. This was a very real, like, in a real setting.
It's a much better story to tell, I
Yeah.
feel, from this movie. And you can see how it moved people. There's a lot of, his poetry reads, how they affected the audience, and just his dad was in it, I believe. At one point, he goes to sit and watch wrestling
Oh, that's right. Yes.
when that's his real life father.
Okay.
So I found that to be, hey, awesome.
And that was what was the? Because it wasn't recent wrestling. It was like
Oh, it was old Western.
it's the kind of wrestling I grew up with.
Yes.
And that I did. There again, like when I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, oh, if I like little meter of things like enjoy, it's get pumped up when I see some old school wrestling. That's not where I watch wrestling with my family. That's the normal part of Joe's life.
Okay. There's but in addition to the Joe's monologues, there's also some dark, sketchy stuff going on, and kind of a little bit of a mystery, as you said earlier.
You see through like news reports and things like that.
Yeah.
There's girls that are missing.
Some swerves, some twists, but
And that's the thing. I don't think it was playing towards the slasher kind of thing.
no,
I mean, you didn't really get to see like a lot of blood and
I
guts.
don't think there was any blood and guts.
No.
It was
This is kind of a mystery,
Yeah.
suspense,
there was no.
and for me there was a payoff at the end. I was like, oh yeah, okay.
Joe does find some people he sort of connects with.
Yeah.
You can tell it's difficult with him. I mean, people like relate to his poetry and they speak to him afterwards, and even like then he's having an awkward time. But like in his apartment building, there's people he's talking with, and he seems like he's getting sort of a bond with.
Yeah, kind of imagine a friend in his apartment. And I will tell you, when I saw the neighbor who had a similar look, I thought that was when I first saw him, I was like, that's kind of maybe a different personality of
Maybe like Joe wants to be.
because it was Joe, then there was Joel, and I was like, is this some kind of, it's all happening in his head kind of thing, identity-ish? So I was intrigued, but I liked it.
My favorite part, maybe a spoiler, but when he calls up the working woman,
The hooker, yes.
Yeah. That was good. That was good.
Yes.
but she I guess it was like $50, and she's like, that's just to get me here. Like it's another 300.
What can I get for this?
And he's like, I want to get laid. She's like, I want to eat. I was like, yes. Okay, so let's rate it on the poop scale.
It's not my cup of tea, but I'm gonna give it 2.5 because they did, it is a personal story, and it takes a lot. And they finished, they made it, made it happen. The acting was
2.5 out of 5.
2.5 out of 5. 5 being loved it, and 1 being no, not so much. But 2.5 because I thought they did a good job, and I'm sure that there's an audience. It's not particularly me, but like
I am your audience. Okay.
I'm gonna give it 3 poops. I went into it thinking it might be sort of like Maniac. Maybe it was.
There's some
Maybe
similarities.
There is.
It was a Maniac.
Yeah. But
Thank you.
that's a good one.
Thank
That's a
you.
good one. But even at the end, There, if they were playing to that, they did have that homage to it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's why we give it 3. Because I mean, it was a solid effort, and
Yeah.
they did a pretty good job.
All right. I will give it 4.5 poops because, as I said, this speaks on a different level to me. And the rage you see in Joe crying in the shower, yelling and screaming at his loss, you know, I've been there. I can relate. So, for me, this, like I said, this movie made me actually cry at a couple points. So, I will say thank you, Joseph, for telling your story. And that's
David, what is his name? Falicky?
Daniel
Falicky, for bringing that to everyone.
hell of a direction.
So check it out, Chemical Burn.
Chemical Burn.
Check us out. Subscribe to some stuff.
And smile.
See you next time.